morning, all coffee morning. We need to know, do you all suffer with anxiety? I don't know why I said suffer. Experience anxiety, live with anxiety, however you want to take it. We're live on YouTube, not Facebook yet, not LinkedIn, still restricted. I don't know how long for. Yeah. How are we, Kerry?
I'm good, actually, thank you. Apart from my glasses keep steaming up at the moment, but I can still see, so I'm all right. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you was going to whinge about either, the bricks or your hair.
Yeah, no, I think my hair's, I'm going to leave it alone now. It's just going to do its own thing, so it doesn't matter what I do to it. It's just going to carry on regardless, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. So,
it is what it is.
So what are we drinking today, then?
Oh, I'm on coffee. Always coffee.
I've got an Americano.
Have you? Mine's just a boring, straightforward, white, instant thing.
What is with everyone saying thing these days?
Thing.
Oh my god! But yeah,
this mug was also supposed to say I love Butlins, because I went to Butlins at Bognor Regis a few years ago, and I wanted a mug, but I could only find one that said I love Bognor Regis. So there we go.
I've never been to Bognor Regis.
It's not too bad, actually. It's quite a pleasant place.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, anxiety. Now, there's all sorts of forms of anxiety. I haven't done my research into it as of yet, but I know there's a mass scale of it. Social anxiety, anxiety in general. Yeah, so which one shines to you the most, Kerry?
Let's go with social anxiety, because that is something that I have experienced in the past, and occasionally I can get those old feelings coming back, and so I have a little chat with myself, and it's all good.
You have to chat with yourself. Did you not argue with yourself?
Sometimes.
So, for the viewers, when you join in and replay, just let me know who you are. And let's see if you've experienced social anxiety as well. I know my partner does, and she's not here. I don't know why. Probably gone shopping, because she loves shopping. Yeah. I earn, she spends.
I earn, I spend. Got no one else to earn some money for me. So.
No,
I'm not complaining.
So, for the viewers, what is social anxiety and how does it affect us?
Well, as I said, it's something that I have experienced quite a lot of in years gone by. Really not quite so much these days, or at least certainly not to the extent that I used to. It's for me, the first time I actually experienced it, I was out of work. We're going back quite a few years now, back to the early 1990s. You may or may not remember them, Adam.
I do, actually, yeah. Ooh, I was born there.
Well, there you go. I'm a little bit older than you then. But yeah, I was out of work for a good couple of years. It was at the time that we had a big recession. And after a little while, I started declining, or not so much declining invitations to go out with friends, but finding excuses that I thought were reasons as to why I shouldn't go. Because in my head, I was telling myself that I had nothing interesting to talk about, because what did I do other than look for jobs day in, day out, do a bit of housework, read a book, listen to a bit of music, watch some television. That was literally all I did for a long time, And the problem is, of course, the more you tell yourself that you've got nothing interesting to say, and people won't be interested in what you've got to say anyway, because you're not doing anything interesting, you end up believing it.
Yeah.
So it's anxiety, that kind of social anxiety, if you like, is very much, well, any kind of anxiety is linked in with limiting beliefs, but it's also linked in with fear, because that's kind of the feeling that we experience when we're experiencing anxiety. So, excuse me.
Have your coffee.
Yeah. But there is another aspect of social anxiety, which is interestingly linked to people who are very, very much introverted.
Okay.
Now, you know me, I hate labels. I really do hate labels. But if we're going to explain in a way for most people to understand, then we have to use these labels.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that label of introvert, and I am one. I am an introvert, purely because when it's time for me to recharge, I have to have that alone time. So I go within to recharge, re-energize. Whereas it's generally accepted that extroverts will recharge by being around other people and drawing on the energy from them. But there's not one set thing, that it's a sliding scale for both, because although I'm an introvert, I'm what you would call a social introvert. So I'm very much a social person, but I know when it's time for me to leave the party and go and spend some time on my own. Equally, there are introverts who can be very shy, who really don't do people at all other than their close knit circle.
That's not common.
Yeah, and so of course the thought of going into a room full of people that they don't know fills them with anxiety. It is a fear-based thing. It really fills them with anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting area. I mean, if you generalize anxiety, you're looking at, I don't know, somebody could be looking at potentially doing something, and all of a sudden it's, oh my goodness, what if, followed by a negative statement.
Yeah. See, I think when I'm in crisis or I'm low, I do prefer to be on my own. Yeah. But I wouldn't say I'm social anxiety, because even though this week is meant to be my week off doing everything, I'm here. It's like I say a thing, but I do the total opposite on some days. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I get nagged at for it.
Bless you.
Yeah, and then I get told next week you're having your week off. I'm like, can't, because I'm being interviewed. So
yeah. So tell us a bit about how you feel, your thoughts as you're going through anxiety.
What stems to mind is what happened 2 years ago, which obviously I experienced a severe anxiety attack to the point I attempted suicide. Because anxiety can drive you to that.
Yeah.
Because obviously we all know anxiety starts with your mind. And it's triggered of like voices, even though you don't know these voices. But the voices that are trying to come through, who there's always that blockage of allowing them in.
Yeah.
So it's scary stuff.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so those voices that I presume that they're the ones that are attempting to say to you, it's all okay.
Yeah. These voices, there were about 10 at the time, and they were saying, it's okay. You can go through this. Nobody will miss you. Just words like that. Nobody will miss you. You're not loved. You're worthless. Stuff like that. But I don't know how I overcome it. I still don't know today. And it's been 2 years later. I don't know.
It's I find that an absolutely fascinating area, to be perfectly honest. It's I can't say that it's something that I personally have experienced, although there has been an occasion many years ago where I just wanted something to stop, and I would have done absolutely anything to make it stop.
Yeah.
And for a split second, I actually considered driving the car into a brick wall at speed. I didn't, obviously, because I'm still here. But I think there's just something, isn't there? There's something that just suddenly says, no, you're not doing this.
Yeah.
And you pull back, and you take a few steps back, and you just think, whoa, really? What on earth am I doing?
Yeah, it comes to that taking one step forward but two steps back.
Yeah.
That scenario, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's well, as you know, I experienced a nervous breakdown many years ago. You know, I was diagnosed as being severely depressed, and it was during that time that I had that fleeting thought. But you kind of, social anxiety is a little bit different to it can lead to those extremes if we allow it to. If we allow it to get out of hand, if we allow it to be more than just social anxiety, you know, I would go so far as to suggest that social anxiety is actually quite a minor aspect of anxiety. Others may disagree with me. That's just my opinion. But as I say, it all starts with that one question, what if, and followed by the negative. And the thing is, what we're dealing with here is something that hasn't happened and very likely won't happen, you know, because it's in the future and that's not necessarily being determined. So if we go into that situation with those what if followed by negative statement questions going on in our minds and experiencing those feelings of anxiety and fear, you know, there's every chance that we're going to manifest something negative out of that situation, whether it be the very thing that we've been asking ourselves, or what if, or whether it's something else. So how do we deal with that?
Yeah, because if we're constantly with the what ifs, constantly being skeptical, that is another form of a trigger which can cause, as you said, a nervous breakdown. So yeah, we can be skeptical till, I don't know, till someone famous knocks on our door. It's not gonna happen.
That's it, you know. Yeah, you know, you don't pay a bill, for example, and you're a bit late. Oh my goodness, what if I get a red bill? What if they cut me off? What if they do this? What if they do that? What if they do something else? Well, you might get a red bill if you don't pay it before a certain date. But a red bill's just it's a piece of paper with some red typing on it. That's all. It's a piece of paper. But it's done in red because it's there to sort of shock you and coerce you into paying that bill. And to say that, you know, if you don't pay the bill, then we will take further action. So, you know, if we've got problems paying that bill, for example, all we've got to do is pick up the phone and say, look, I'm a bit financially embarrassed at the moment. Can we come to some arrangement? And they're not going to say no, because they want the money. They don't want to cut you off.
Depends which company you're with.
Well, let's not go there.
No, not today.
Yeah, no.
The amount of directors I had to deal with.
Yeah, but that's an example, you know. But again, I went through that whole thing a long time ago when I'd got virtually hardly anything coming in, and I'd get a bill come in, and I think, oh, I can't pay it, so I'd put it to one side and I wouldn't deal with it because I was afraid. I was experiencing anxiety over it. And I just thought, if I bury my head in the sand with it, if I forget that it's there, it'll go away. And I don't have to think about it. Yeah, because I wanted those feelings of anxiety to go away.
Yeah.
Well, then, you know, a couple of weeks later, a month later, I get the red bill, the reminder, or the final notice or whatever. And then I start feeling my heart beating hard, you know, and if those feelings of anxiety are coming back, and it's like, oh, I don't like this, what the hell am I going to do? I haven't got enough money to pay it. I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
Because at that moment you absolutely convinced that you cannot deal with it. Common sense does not, logic does not come into it. You know, and you can get into trouble with it. You really can. If you leave it long enough, you really can get into trouble with it. You know, I will hold my hands up. I've been there. It was a long time ago, but I have been there.
Yeah.
And so now I make a point, you know, if there's an occasion that I can't pay the full amount, I'll phone them and just say, look, this is my situation at the minute. I'm not able to pay the full amount, but I can pay you this much, and I can pay the remainder by such and such. 9 times out of 10, they're absolutely fine with it. You know, it's about dealing with it. It's about getting those. It's getting common sense and logic to come forward and override those what if thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
But it is hard. It is very hard when you're in the middle of it, when you're experiencing that horrible, it's that gut churning, gut tightening feeling, isn't it?
So that's covering like the bills and stuff like that. Let's move on to why do people get so anxious? Because I've seen the mass percentage rise in the last 14 months when it comes to this COVID.
Yeah.
Why are we letting ourselves get anxious?
So first of all, we've got to remember, and everybody's going to have different views about this anyway. So, you know, I'm going to be mindful of how I put this across and what I say. First of all, we've had an announcement by our government that we've got this nasty virus come about. Okay. And because of the reports that we've seen and heard from mainstream media, people have started to get a little bit scared. You know, because they've seen what has apparently happened, or at the time was happening, supposedly in China. And then, of course, it starts to move around the world into different countries. And then all of a sudden, we're told that we've got to go into lockdown. We're not allowed out unless it's to exercise and to go and get essential items like food shopping, you know, prescription medication, that kind of thing. We're not allowed to see anybody else. You know, we've got to keep our distance from people. And basically, businesses close their doors. It's something that this country's never experienced, ever. And then, of course, you've got the constant, and it's not just once a day, it's several times a day, and it still goes on even now in the mainstream media, where you're getting updates on the number of cases and the number of apparent fatalities as a result of all of this. And then, of course, you're getting updates from the government, and for all of that time, it's been negative. And it's, you know, you must be afraid. You mustn't do this. You mustn't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. If you do this, something bad's going to happen. Okay. Now, whether you believe that or not, that's entirely your choice. Okay. But for those out there that do believe it, they've become absolutely, and am I allowed to say, shit scared?
So yeah, you need to say freedom of speech, end of the day. Freedom of speech.
so many people have become so scared of this virus and what it could potentially mean, not just for them, but for their loved ones as well. If they so much as, stand a foot less than 6 feet away from them,
Yeah.
or if they so much as take off a mask to speak to them, and it's I find it very, very sad. I find it quite frustrating, but I find it very sad. And I don't mean that in a condescending way either, because I am genuinely concerned for the amount of people that already experienced anxiety on a fairly major level prior to all of this. And this has just absolutely skyrocketed it.
It does.
It does. Now, the thing is here, it's all well and good to say, well, we need to educate these people. Yes, we do. That would be a really good thing to educate these people that are experiencing these high, almost crippling levels of anxiety. However, at the same time, for a lot of people that do experience these high crippling levels of anxiety, just that attempting to say to themselves, actually, it's all okay. This hasn't happened yet. Dealing what is happening right now with me right now in my own space, focus on that. And that may well get them through that moment, but unless they spend every second of every minute of every hour of every day doing that, which is completely unreasonable, really, because they'd never think about doing anything else, and they probably wouldn't get anything else done. I'm using really extreme cases here, so for the majority, it would eventually, to do that kind of thing on a regular basis, it would eventually bring those levels down, and they would be able to change their thinking around. But for those that experience the extreme levels, it's a very, very hard thing for them to do.
Yeah, because I remember at the very start of this, we're talking start of April 2020. My partner went into town and she wore a mask, and she only had it on for 5 minutes. And the severe anxiety attack she had because of it, she almost collapsed. So she took it off, and she's never wore one since.
Yeah,
never.
Yeah.
But to those who are living in fear and they don't know who to turn to, do what I did, because I've not watched it in ages. Turn the news off. Turn the news off.
The only time I hear the news is if I've got the radio on and it comes on and I hear it. But even then, I tend to I switch this off. I haven't got a hearing aid, but I just switch my ears off. I find something else to focus on. And I've never bought a newspaper. I might read little articles online occasionally, but I know that what I need to know will find its way to me when I need to know it. I switched off from mainstream media years ago, because probably at around the time that I experienced, or just after I'd experienced the nervous breakdown, because everything that I was reading, everything that I was hearing,
negative.
or at least 99% of it, was negative. And I just thought, I don't need this in my life. Why can't we hear about something really great that's happening at the moment? But of course, good news doesn't sell. That's the thing. I hate to say it, but it really doesn't. Good news doesn't sell. I really don't pay a great deal of attention to mainstream media anymore.
Exactly. And I know I've said this previous as well, but to everyone that's listening, if you hear the words social distance, ignore it. Ignore it, because not once have I ever complied to that. Yeah, I've had people saying, "Oh, you're breaking the law." And I'm like, no. We've all got our views, but we're not social distancing because we're online, virtually, and the amount of people I've come across, I'm social connected. So we may never meet each other. I don't know, but
who knows? Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows?
I'm sure we will at some point.
Maybe.
You and I.
Maybe.
Yeah. But this is a very good point, actually, because again, I think the guidelines, the laws, if they are laws, are not very clear. It's not very clear as to what is legal and what is illegal. So I'm kind of I'm inclined to say to people that do what you feel is right for you, and your family and your friends. It's got to that point now, really, particularly with the rollout of the jab. Many people have had it, many people haven't. That's personal choice. Exactly. I respect both of those. I absolutely respect the choice to have it and the choice to not have it. We are sovereign beings at the end of the day. It's up to us what we have put into our bodies and what we don't.
Exactly.
And again, this is something else that has caused a great deal of anxiety in a lot of people. And anxiety is such a wide area. That's the thing. It can appear for absolutely anything. Any event, anything, any thought that we have, anything that we hear, be it from somebody else or on the news, anything that we read, and it can be a good thing that we're reading, but we can still feel that anxiety. Like, as I said, an invite to a dinner party or a birthday party or some kind of celebration, or just come round.
Same with exams, because I know exams are coming up for school kids. Like obviously, like my son and daughter, their exams are coming up. I know people in secondary school, their exams are coming up. So obviously they're going to experience anxiety as well. But if like I've had one of my family relatives message me saying I'm nervous about my exam. I'm like, right, okay. What are you doing to support that? They went, nothing. I'm like, right, okay. Say positive affirmations to yourself. Now, like just today, I've took on the 10-day positive affirmation challenge.
Cool.
I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't yet. No, I'll have a look a bit later.
Kerry. No, it's
busy.
Do you know what? I'm actually saying this live. I'm challenging you to it as well, to do it. What you have to do, and I'm challenging all the viewers as well that's doing this, you have to put a post on 10 positive affirmations over the full 10 days. The only rule is you're not allowed to say it twice.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
10 days.
Challenge accepted.
Fine. See, I've already done mine, so that's it now till tomorrow.
Cool. So, excellent.
I'm going to struggle, though. I'm going to struggle.
Only if you believe that you will.
No, I'll get through it. Of
course you will.
It's whatever's up there. It's very dangerous up there.
It can be. It can be dangerous up there if we allow it to be. As I say, with everything, not just the current situation, but with lots of things that go on, even things that other people say to us.
Yeah.
It all depends on our environment as well.
Survive. Surround yourself with positive people. See, I remember my experience where I had a circle of trust and there were more negative people in there, and I was attacked for it online as well.
Yeah.
But I've learned to now reduce that.
It helps. It really does help. Believe you me, I still have one or two friends who I suppose, let's face it, we can all be negative at times.
Oh yeah.
Every single one of us. We can't possibly be positive all the time, 100% of the time. We're human beings. We're meant to experience all of those different emotions and feelings, you know, and to not allow ourselves to experience those things we'd actually be doing more damage to ourselves than good, to be perfectly honest. But what I say is that you know, look for the positive in every negative situation. I will obviously only where appropriate, but I tend to resort to humour. I call it humour. Others might not agree with me. Yeah, but that's my default anyway. Is to resort to humour to make light of a situation. You know, to help perhaps the person concerned or the people concerned realise that, okay, so what's happened isn't nice, but you know, we can move on from that, and we can move on positively from it.
I remember a while back now, 24 hours prior to doing my video, I was down. Not fully down, but I was down. The next day, I was on a live, which obviously is on YouTube as well, with Miss Staying Alive. I would recommend that video any day because I was in stitches.
That's it. Find something that's going to lift your mood, lift your spirits, and humour is guaranteed to do that every single time. You know, obviously, not everybody's humour is for everybody. That's why I said, you know, although my default setting is humour, not everybody would agree with that. Not everybody would find me humorous. But hey ho.
Opinions.
That's it. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I've always said, instead of taking mental health seriously, have fun with it. It can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy. I've experienced both.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Exactly. So is there anything else you want to say about anxiety?
All I will say is that for, you know, it's important, I think, for everyone to remember that something that hasn't yet happened can't possibly hurt you right now. And something that hasn't yet happened may not happen. Those what if this happens, or what if they say that, or they do that? What if they don't? What if that doesn't happen? What if something really fantastic happens instead? What if they're absolutely over the moon? What if they're really, really helpful and sympathetic and help you with that particular issue? Reframe, flip that what if negative to a what if positive.
Exactly. Yeah, just like if you write the word I cannot on the piece of paper, fine, that's okay.
Yeah.
Then rip it to where it only says I can.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. There's always meanings within the words.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, I love the fact that you're doing is it 10 days of 10 affirmations per day?
10 days positive affirmation,
Yeah. So, you know, finding those 10 positive affirmations in itself is a brilliant thing, because you're focusing on what is positive, and you're finding lots of different things that you can be positive about, that, you know, about yourself, about your day, about your surroundings, about anything, absolutely anything. Now, over that period of 10 days, as long as you're telling yourself those things, you write them down, but then read them out loud. Perhaps read them out loud twice a day.
Yeah.
Once you've written them down, and then again later on in the day, perhaps before you go to bed. And eventually, in theory, and generally in practice, but at the end of those 10 days, you will believe those positive affirmations, and your thought processes, your beliefs, your own beliefs about yourself and about your immediate world that you live in will be a lot more positive, and a lot of those negatives will have disappeared. So it's not something that will happen just like that. It won't happen overnight. And with some people, it may take longer than 10 days.
Yeah.
But it's a bit like creating a habit, I suppose, isn't it? A new habit.
Yeah, and if people, it's not a reason, but if people use the excuse, oh, I haven't got time for this, I haven't got time for that. Well, I'm sorry, that's just an excuse. We
It is.
always
You have
got time. We've
Yes.
always got time. Even if
Always.
it's just 5 minutes, like this morning, you won't even think, but I've been up since 4:45 this morning.
Wow.
And I think this is like my 4th cup of coffee. I've meditated, so I'm ready to go. But yet again, I think this Americano's giving me energy anyway. So oh well.
That's another thing that's really good to combat anxiety as well, and to calm and those thoughts and focus those thoughts is meditation. All it takes is 10, 15 minutes. You know, get yourself, have a guided meditation. Or if you don't want to do a guided meditation, just do a breathing meditation. So basically you sit and you relax and you just focus on your breathing in and breathing out and just relaxing. And that's all you focus on.
Yeah, see, we're learning to do that with our kids now, where obviously we're not doing it as much, as long, but they're like breathing for like 3 seconds, but then they're exhaling for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't work as well, go for a cold shower. That is, it's awesome. A cold shower.
It is when it's really hot. No, you're absolutely right.
I go any weather.
I've heard it's supposed to have really positive effects on the whole body, the whole system.
Try it.
I might. Not today though. I had a shower earlier. I really haven't got time to have another one just yet. Maybe tonight. Maybe this evening. Maybe tomorrow morning. Wake me up.
Yeah, see, I have the hot showers, but then when I'm because I've got between 1 and 10 on it. Obviously, we know what 10 is, but when I feel so cold, I actually turn it down to about 2, maybe 3, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I will give it a go. Yeah.
I challenge you.
2 challenges in.
Let me know the outcome.
Okay then.
Hey, I've done it even in the middle of a thunderstorm. So oh well.
Challenge accepted.
Brilliant, that's 2 now. But yeah, anyway. I will let you go. Thanks to everyone that will be tuning in. And we'll tune in next week because I think we'll be doing self-care. One
of my favourite topics.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let's do self-care.
I love self-care.
Right. On that note, cheerio. I'm ending this.